Wow. Wow. So this is what it feels like on a Saturday morning. I'm uncomfortable with this and I don't like it. Yeah, party people, good mornings. Good mornings. I just have a few things I want to share with the world and I'm gonna get out of here. Um just a few things just really quickly. It's good to see y'all. Good mornings. Man, I got some dogs in there in the living room that's waiting for me to take them outside. But um I just had a few things that I wanted to talk to y'all about. I noticed that we have not been talking about in Nick's universe, and I'm gonna just share my opinion on it, and then I'm gonna get out of here and do some housework while I listen to or watch Know the Ledge in a few minutes. Or I guess it's like in a couple of hours or whatever. So the first thing I want to say is this. Yo, Soulfinger is in the building. Soulfinger, what's good, bro? One of the first things I want to say is this. I think the Milwaukee Bucks firing their head coach was not just about things in house with the Milwaukee Bucks. I think our New York Knicks are legit a threat to teams in the NBA. And in this arms race type scenario where everybody has to be at their best in order to win, I think the Knicks being red hot and improving with an arrow pointing upwards has other NBA teams on notice. I think other NBA teams are on notice. Oh shoot, I meant to send Lee. My bad, man. I got Lee. My bad. I got behind doing the thumbnail, man, and I meant to send this to you. So let me. I'm gonna send this to you real quick, Lee. My bad, everybody. So I'm not here for a long time. I'm just here for a good time. I just want to put some intel, put some info out in Nick's universe because I think a lot of storylines and things like that have gotten stale. People don't have anything to talk about, and so what I want to do is talk about a few specific things to to kind of let people know our perspective. Yo, Knicks for life is in the building. What's good? What's good? Danny Landis is in the building. Andios, what's good? So Danny is in the building. I'm gonna play Lee's intro real short, and because I don't want to be here for too long. I just want to add some information. So Lee, what's good, bro?
Good morning, man. What's good? What's good?
Ain't nothing to it. Ain't nothing to
All
it,
right.
bro. Um so I got a few points, man. I just want to jump on and talk about really quickly, man. I don't want to. I'm gonna try not to go past 10 o'clock, man. I gotta walk these dogs, both literally and figuratively, get some exercise and get these dogs some exercise. You know what I'm
For
saying?
sure.
Yeah. But
No doubt. No doubt.
so the first thing I want to mention, um, is I think the Milwaukee Bucks firing their coach is not just because of how they were performing in house. I think the Knicks are legit a threat on people's radar after other NBA teams go back and watch film on the Knicks. And I think teams are now having to actually address us as contemporaries as opposed to addressing the Knicks as up and comers. It's like what I'm comparing it to is like when you go away to college or the military and your little brother is like 12 years old, you know what I'm saying? And he depending on Mom Dukes for everything, and then you come back, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like 6 years later, and he a grown man taking prom pictures and all that. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm
No doubt.
saying? Yeah, that's why I think that's where the Knicks are. Bobby Santiago is in the building. Philip Casanovas is in the building. Salute y'all. When we watch the film of the Milwaukee Bucks defense, we look at the Milwaukee Bucks defense, and what has happened is the league has figured out that all they do is funnel your ball handler toward Brook Lopez, and Brook Lopez doesn't have to move his feet, right?
Mm-mm.
So what happened is now teams are making Brook Lopez move his feet against guards, and now Brook Lopez looks just like what he is, a big veteran, stiff, big man, right? Like I liken it to if you brought all the evidence to the detectives and the detectives didn't have to go out in the field and do some work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, but then if you make the detectives go out in the field and do some work, it's a difference. I'm talking about like on the
Mm-hmm.
detective shows. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like when like for instance for Law and Order fans, like instead of Ice-T always being in the office saying slick stuff in a chase, a run down the alley, and you know remember that Ice-T is 60 years old with a beer belly,
Yeah.
and now you got
Yeah.
him running down the alley or running down the street in every episode. That's what the
Mm-hmm.
Bucks defense look like right now, right? Like Brook Lopez is a big stiff that benefited from the Bucks funneling the defense to him. And now that the coach is gone and the new coach is trying a different defensive scheme because they knew that was an issue, Brook Lopez can't figure it out. And now Giannis has to legit be included in the defense as opposed to being a weak side shot blocker and a scoring machine. Now that you make
Mm-hmm.
Giannis do other stuff, right? Now that Dame Lillard has to be a point of attack defender, now you notice that the Bucks are flawed, and that flaw that they have is too great to face a Knicks team that may not be as talented, but have chemistry and synergy and work together better,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think while the Bucks are confident they could beat us in a playoff series, they didn't want to leave anything to chance,
For
right?
sure.
And so there were things like this going on around the NBA landscape. Like I'm going to touch on I want to continue to talk about the Bucks thing really quick and the Knicks, but I also want to
Mm-hmm.
point out that Miami made a trade because Miami has magic, right? They somehow figure things out late in the season and then they go on their mystical playoff run like they normally do, right? But what I think
Mm-hmm.
Miami noticed is that when you do the magic trick for second graders, they all second graders are always like caught up in the whole magic trick. They never see all the other stuff that the magician is doing. But now
Mm-hmm.
the Knicks defense is better than Miami's defense, and now that we can put OG Anunoby on Jimmy Butler and shut
Mm-hmm.
down, Miami understands that a lineup that includes Kyle Lowry and Bam Adebayo can't beat the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're in a situation where they feel as if they have to make these master changes in order to be competitive with the Knicks. Like right now, Miami, I know deep down, Miami knows that the Knicks are a better team than them. Right?
Definitely.
But it's just like the little brother scenario. Like just because the older brother is 6 years older than the younger brother, it doesn't mean the younger brother is not a man also. You know what I'm saying? Like one of them
That's
things, like
right.
you know how you threaten your little brother, like boy, I take you in the
Mm-hmm.
backyard and see that's just talk
Mm-hmm.
trying to put the Timmy on the little brother. But if you mess around and punch that little brother in the face, he gonna punch you back. Is that ready for?
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready for that? And I think in that case, the Miami Heat understands that you can't beat the Knick with the jersey no more, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
legit now you can do a OG on Jimmy Butler. You can do a Dante DiVincenzo on Kyle Lowry, and that's what
Yeah.
forced them to make a move. They can't afford that. You know, what if the Knicks sweep us in the first round type situation?
Mm-hmm.
Because last year Miami beat us because we were young, not only in age but in playoff experience, right?
Definitely.
This year, the Knicks are not young and they have playoff experience. They added Dante DiVincenzo with years of playoff experience. They added OG Anunoby with playoff experience. So now the dynamic has changed in that teams around the NBA, I think, are forced to respect the Knicks on in that space. And I know this is a different um conversation than what we've been having with the most times we say well all the Knicks need to do is trade for one more player, man. Tom Thibodeau rotations and all. That stuff is dead right now, right? This
Mm-hmm.
team right now is showing other teams in person, like they did the Denver Nuggets, and on tape that this team is something to be reckoned with. And to be honest with you, this is probably the first time that this team is a legit title contending esque team where you can't sleepwalk through the Knicks in the playoffs. You can't
No,
throw
we're sure.
you can't throw your
Uh-huh.
Boston Celtics jersey on the floor and then get the gentleman sweep no more, right?
No, we're a legit threat. We're a legit threat.
Right. Right. And I think that's the reason. And Chat, I know this thing sounds weird, but what I'm asking you to have faith in me that I actually put some thought and researched this. Like I went back and looked at the Milwaukee Bucks defense on film. Right. One year from 2 years ago, they used to funnel everything to Brook Lopez, and he didn't have to move his feet. All he had to do was contest shots at the rim. Right. And then now teams are pulling Brook Lopez out where he has to move his feet on the perimeter, and their defense look. Y'all know we lost to the Bucks like 4 times already, right? Or 3 times, whatever it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about that is even though we beat them, we were scoring a ton of points. We are defensively, we just couldn't stop them,
Mm-hmm.
right? We could score on them, we couldn't stop them. And then we added OG Anunoby on January 1st. And
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden, our defense is the best defense in the NBA. So now that we can score on the Bucks, right? We can score on the Bucks. Now we can stop the Bucks defensively also. And so if you're a Miami, you take notice, right? If you're a Milwaukee, you take notice. If you're a Miami, you take notice. But if you're also a Boston, if you're a Philadelphia, you also take note.
It's fitting to be ugly
Right,
in a beautiful way
right,
for
right,
us. For us. Ugly for everybody else, but beautiful for us.
right.
Definitely. Because I was watching them last night. We weren't on, and I was, for S&Gs, I was just sitting there watching. Donovan carved them up like it was Thanksgiving.
Right, right, bro. We're in a nice spot, Knicks fans. We're in a nice spot.
Yes, we are. We truly are in a spot where we can just, truly ascend, provided whether we do or don't do anything. You know.
Right. Right. I do think that we have to make another move. I do believe that um we need a secondary a second we need a second primary facilitator, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. We need an English teacher and a math teacher. We don't need a substitute teacher. We need another if Brunson is the math teacher, we need an English teacher in here. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so we don't need a substitute teacher, somebody off somebody's bench to come in and just nah. No, because playoff coaches are too smart. You're not gonna beat a playoff team and a playoff tested coach with scrap parts from a bad team, right? You're just not gonna do that. Coaches in this league are too smart, right? And if you look at the teams in the Eastern Conference, Doc Rivers is now in Milwaukee. He's an NBA championship level coach. Nick Nurse in
Mm-hmm.
Philly, he's an NBA championship level coach. The coach in
Mm-hmm.
Boston, he's been to the NBA finals already, right?
Mm-hmm.
That core in Boston has been to the NBA finals twice. So by saying all we need is the Utah Jazz's backup point guard, if that's your answer, then your answer is either if that's your answer, either you read the question wrong or you have no context on what playoff basketball is, right? So ultimately, what I'm saying is um the Knicks have to go out and get a guy that legit has an impact. So
I agree.
whoever that impact guy is, then I hope he comes in and blends into what we're looking to do.
Mm-hmm.
But Miami has already sent the signal to you that they understand that the Knicks are legit,
For
right?
sure.
Milwaukee fired a coach with a winning record because they know the Knicks are nothing to play with right now, right? And
Crazy.
so what I'm going to say to you is be aware over the next week or so, right? Over the next week or so towards the trade deadline, be aware of what teams in the Eastern Conference do, right? Right? Be aware. Indiana made the trade for Siakam because they had a thing internally that they were so they don't know how they measure up against us. So they may not make a move because they don't know. They probably see the Knicks on film, right? But they don't know, they haven't felt the Knicks with their improvement and the Knicks improvement.
Mm.
But watch out for your teams. Watch out for your Orlando Magics. Orlando
Mm-hmm.
beat us because we legit didn't have that second primary playmaker. Remember how they pulled away from us late because we
Yep.
couldn't get points from the second unit?
Yep.
Watch
Yep.
out for those
Yep.
teams to make watch out for those teams to make moves. So what you got, boss?
I mean, as far as today, or just in general.
Far as in general.
Okay, in general. I honestly feel like what you just said. We 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 are really putting teams on notice as of late. How we've been how we've been handling some of these so-called upper echelon teams, but also too, I like the fact that the defense is stellar now. That's really caught my eye, caught my attention. Shutting teams down. I mean, OG and Nobi, he's having sent. Um, and to your point about the the secondary ball handler, we don't need to reach out and go. I really don't think we really need a Murray as much or Clarkson. More and more I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking more about see what's left, who gets waived and who gets cut, because you're going to see some big names being waived and cut. At the end of the trade deadline, and that's where I think where we can pick up our player that we're looking for, that finishing piece. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
A scrappy vet, somebody we don't really need much to, because the scoring is there as far as with Deuce. Deuce can shoot. It's just that he can't
He's not
facilitate.
consistent. First of all, Deuce is not consistent, right? He's
Yeah,
not a consistent. Deuce doesn't give you 17 every night. Deuce is matchup dependent.
yeah.
Against lesser players, Deuce can get his own. But
hmm
in May and June, there
Where
won't be
it
any.
matters the
There
most.
ain't gonna be no lesser players for Deuce to kind of eat and grow and get better against. Because every
Mm,
shot he takes is gonna be life or death, so to speak. Do you want to put Deuce
Definitely.
McBride in that situation? Some people say he ready. Some people I don't believe. I don't want to see Deuce McBride versus Eric Spoelstra.
Hell no,
That's what I
not
don't want to.
now.
I don't want to see that. I would prefer Dejounte Murray versus Eric Spoelstra. Right. That's my opinion. Right. That's just my 2 cents. Like, not to hijack your point, but I don't want personally. I don't want to see a Tyus Jones versus Eric Spoelstra. Right.
Definitely, I
I
agree.
don't want to risk. And the reason why I say it is I don't want to risk that. I don't want to risk that because all it takes is one or two plays in a series
hmm
where we can be
hmm
up 2-1 versus Miami to have us
hmm
down 3-0 against Miami.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's my 2 cents in it. Like for instance, uh, um if the Knicks make a move, I think they have to legit make a strong-handed move because what we've been hearing for years is that the Knicks are gathering assets to make the major move, and for years they've been kicking the can down the road. This ain't the
Facts.
year we're gonna do it in the summer. This ain't the year we're gonna do it in the summer. This ain't the year we're gonna do it in the summer. This ain't the year we're gonna do it in the summer. So we've been hearing that for a while. And while the star that they're looking for may not be available at the trade deadline, what I would say is at least combine some of those assets and go get a DeJounte Murray type player. Whereas if you get him for this playoff run and he's a baller, you keep him, right?
Mm.
And if you get him and he's a baller, but he may not be the ideal fit, you can package dare I say it, you can package a OG Anunoby and a DeJounte Murray to go get that star that you're looking for. Or package a DeJounte Murray and a Julius Randle to go get that star that you're looking for. But you can't package Deuce McBride and Quentin Grimes for that star that you're looking for.
No, no, can't, can't do it.
Salute, Rich
Uh,
Boy. Rich Boy's in the building. Sherwin, what's good? Bronx Mel is in the building. JM, what's good? So you have an ideal candidate that you're looking for, a name?
man, I got a name sitting on the top of it's sitting in the back of my mind, and he's CAA guy, and that is Chris Paul.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is because he's a definite facilitator. We don't need to rely on him to score, but we need him to run that second team. Just you know what I'm saying? 20 minutes a game,
Right.
you know, and try to mentor some of these younger guys that we got, and keep the because from what I'm seeing is that our pace really comes from two players. If we're gonna play on an upbeat pace, it's the Josh Harts, it's the Dante, So they push the pace, and I think with a Chris Paul facilitating that and helping that out, I think it would make things easier.
Is
It'll
pace
keep
important?
Randall
Is pace important to you?
right now. Yes, for us, because that's how we've been blowing these teams out. We pick up the pace on them. Offensively. We get the rebound, push the ball, push the ball, keep it moving, get to the basket. You know, uh, Give open, wide open shots. You know what I'm saying? If we can't get to the rim, you know what I'm saying? We keep the ball moving and we're shooting, knocking down shots. Just try to get as many shots as possible. You know, and God willing, when Mitch and Hartenstein come back healthy, you know what I'm saying, they can still keep keep control of the boards to help facilitate that pace
Right.
on the defensive end.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So, but also too get the offensive rebound so we can get second shots because we were very good at that too. You know, killing teams like on the offensive glass. Man, I remember when we was looking at early in the season when we did have Mitch, how we were killing teams with third and fourth and five shots. You know what I'm saying? In one set.
Right.
And I was like, wow. You know what I'm saying? So
So
yeah,
is Mitchell Robinson guaranteed to come back though?
I don't know. I said hopefully.
No. Okay.
That's what I initially said that. Hopefully if he comes back healthy and in
Right.
shape, you know. So, and I don't think we need to go out here and waste our assets on getting a gaffer, even though he would help. But mm-mm.
Right. Right. Um. Not gonna lie to you. The the Chris Paul thing is intriguing to me on the buyout market. Like I think that's
Mhm.
what you were that like you what you were alluding to. Um.
Earlier, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. How? Yeah. Um. I'm on Spot Track right now.
Mhm.
Um. I deleted Cash and Cookies, so it's just taking a little bit of time to get there.
Mhm.
But um, I want to see what a potential buyout for Chris Paul, how that would impact the Warriors. So right now, Chris Paul makes $30 million, right?
Wow.
And then
Oof.
he's got a. I want to look at his contract for next year because I think his contract for next year is partially guaranteed. If it's fully guaranteed, he won't be on the buyout market.
Mhm.
So I'm just gonna check this real quick just to see if he's gonna make it to um the buyout market. I clicked on it and I'm just waiting. Okay, so let me see. So next year is non-guaranteed. So Chris Paul's contract next year is non-guaranteed. So they can buy him out based on
Mhm.
what Spotrac says. They can buy him out
Mhm.
this year after
Mhm.
the trade deadline, and then we could
Mhm.
pick him up after that on the trade. I mean on the buyout market. So I think his
Mhm.
number is it's at 30 because of bonuses. But if he doesn't reach bonuses, like if he doesn't make the All Star team and some other type things, then
Mhm.
I think his number is at 28. And I don't think he's going to make the All Star team this year. He shouldn't. He
Yeah.
won't play like an
I
All
used.
right.
Mm-mm.
But but what I would say to that is, if you've noticed, wherever Chris Paul goes, some young player gets better,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
for those that didn't, and so Sherman says 14 mil is guaranteed next year. Okay, okay, yeah. So they may not buy him out. They may not buy him out, knowing knowing that, but they would save a bunch of money if they do.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then again, they can't buy him out. They're not going to pay. I don't think they're going to pay that man $40 million or whatever it takes just to buy him out. So,
Mm.
so Chris Paul may be in play. He may not be in play. I don't know. Um, I guess it depends on what Golden State wants to do, because they have
Mm.
the 28 mil this year and the 14 mil next year. So
Mm.
maybe they do buy him out for 35 or 36. Who knows? I don't know. If he hits the buyout
Mm.
market, I'm interested.
I am too, because
Yeah,
that'd be our ideal candidate.
yeah,
He'd be ideal.
yeah, yeah.
He'll be so ideal because then now when it comes to the pressure cooker situations, cats like Deuce can learn from him just
Right,
by observing,
right,
just by observing. You know what I mean? And I don't think it would take him long to pick up what we do on offense because it's not like our offense is spectacular or difficult. You know what I mean? It's pretty simple. You know, and he would just help. I could see him actually helping Brunson in these in those tough situations where when it comes to decision making and him just talking on the sideline. You know what I'm saying? Being another quarterback. You
right,
know what I'm saying? And also too, he can also he has that how would you say it? That I'm not gonna say carte blanche, but he has that latitude to audible
right.
certain things that Tibbs will come up and he'll be like, nah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do this right now because this is what the situation is. You know what I mean? He has that much pedigree. That's what I was thinking of.
Hey, hey, can you see the screen? Can you
Yeah,
see me?
yeah.
Look who calling me, bro. 718 boys in full effect. 718
Always.
boys in full effect. See, the thing is why I'm interested in Chris Paul is not because of I'm thinking I'm getting all-star Chris Paul in his prime.
Yeah,
What I'm
facts. That's
getting
what I mean.
right. No, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you said. What I'm saying is in situations there is nothing that Nick Nurse can throw at Chris Paul that he's never seen before. There's
Most
nothing
definitely.
that Eric Spoelstra can throw at Chris Paul that he's never seen before. Now, Deuce
Mm.
McBride, Nick Nurse, they're gonna toy with Deuce in the playoffs, bro. They did it with
Mm-hmm.
Quickly. They did it with RJ. And to be
Mm-hmm.
naive enough to think that Deuce McBride and Quentin Grimes are better players than RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickly is a naive approach, in my opinion. Right? It's just naive. Like, yo, you can't live
You're being nice. You're
right,
being nice.
right. To live in a world where you think that Deuce McBride and Quentin Grimes with playoff experience are gonna give you better production than RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickly did last year is naive, in my opinion. I felt like you should have upgraded last year instead of trusting Quickly and RJ. You should have upgraded. And so, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on
Mm-hmm.
me. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't fall for the same. You can't be Wally Coyote in these instances. You just can't.
Mm-hmm. Like
All
the
the
old
playoff stuff.
proverbial, like the old saying is, "We're not falling for the banana in the tailpipe thing again." Yeah, all right.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And in my opinion, how important are these playoffs to you? Is it important enough? Is it worth risking trying to develop quickly? I mean, um,
McBride
Deuce
or
and
Ingram?
Grimes, yeah, or
No.
is it so important? Is it important enough for you to go out and make a move and not risk it? And see, at the beginning of the show, I mentioned that the Milwaukee Bucks fired a winning coach because they were flawed, because they weren't going to risk it. I mentioned the
Hmm.
Miami Heat traded a veteran that they loved
Hmm.
to improve because they're not going to risk it. Now,
Hmm.
are the Knicks going to risk it? I don't think you
We
could
need
take
to
that
do.
risk.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think you could take that risk. I think you have to go out and get a DeJounte Murray level guard to help you. A defensive guard that knows sets, that can win on his own, that is not going to be toyed with an NBA coach. I don't think Deuce McBride is experienced enough. Now, do we love Deuce? Of course we love Deuce. Do we
Mhm.
do we want Deuce to be here for a long time? Of course we do, right? But every dog has its day, and I don't think putting Deuce McBride out there against the Miamis, against the Bostons, against the bro, because you know what's gonna happen. You know what's gonna happen, right? When Deuce McBride turns the ball over twice in the last 3 minutes of a game, and that we lose in the playoffs. You know what Knicks fans are gonna do, right?
Oh my God, they're gonna.
They're gonna turn
You
on
thought
Deuce.
RJ? What you thought RJ and them had it bad?
Yeah,
Quickly had it bad. This boy's gonna. This young man, excuse me. This young man is gonna. He's gonna feel it 100 times plus.
right, right,
100 times plus. And at this point in his career, where he's very fragile to some degree, you know, and this is what you talk about. You talking about? I remember. It was a couple of seasons ago because we were like, why we didn't put quickly out there to make him a point guard back then. He was like he didn't want to ruin the kid's confidence.
right,
I think this is the same type of situation where you really don't want to ruin a player for the rest of his career.
right,
Like let him get a taste, see what it tastes like. Let him know what it tastes like. But also too, you can't force it all the way down his throat. You know what I mean?
right,
Like, for an example, you can't you still spoon feeding them.
right,
And this is not the situation or all the time where you need to be spoon feeding them or learning as you go.
right,
This trial by fire type of thing is not going to happen. We did that last year. It didn't work, and we suffered and paid for it dearly at a very critical situation
right,
where we couldn't get a shot off and we needed it.
right. Jalen Brunson couldn't even go to the bench and take a break because I don't know if y'all remember this, but last year, Deuce McBride against Miami, the Knicks had an 11-point lead, right? An 11-point lead. Jalen Brunson went to the bench. Tibbs had to snatch him off the bench because Miami tied the game when Deuce McBride was on the floor.
Exactly.
That fast, that
That.
fast, Miami was back in the game against a Deuce McBride led unit. And sure, he's better this year, right? Say he's twice as good as this year, right? But you know what that means? The Knicks Brunson goes to the bench with an 11-point lead. That means when he comes back in the game, it's a 5.5-point lead, 5-point lead, six
still,
point lead, right?
still
Do
not
you
good.
really want to lose the lead when your guys go to the bench? I say no.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
Not at all.
I say no, bro. Just really quick, are there any other teams you feel like are making making a move to get
I
better to stay to get ahead of the Knicks or stay ahead of the Knicks?
I would be surprised um if anybody else makes a move. I don't see Cleveland making a move. There's nothing really. I don't see Cleveland. I don't see Atlanta would make a move just to get rid of money. Um, Let me think. Who else? I don't see Indiana doing anything. Um, I don't see nobody but us. We're the ones who have to.
Orlando, don't forget about Orlando, bro. Orlando's been
Yeah, Orlando.
and it's because
Yeah,
they need a point guard.
yeah, but I don't see them. I don't see them even. I mean, except for maybe who's out there for Orlando to even pick up because as far
DeJounte
as point
Murray.
guard.
DeJounte Murray.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, then they're gonna have to let go of some of that young talent that they have
DeMar
over there.
DeRozan.
Yeah,
Alex
too. Yeah,
Caruso.
Chicago, yeah, Chicago. That's gonna be a fire sale soon. So
Yeah,
we'll
just
see.
because Orlando's in a small market don't mean they won't trade, bro. You know what I'm
I
saying?
don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I think they're more willing to roll the dice with that. They have see Orlando's not in our situation because they are so young. You know what I mean? Because they are particularly so young. So them getting the experience and seeing who they could rely on in those tough situations, they're more willing to try that versus
Hey,
where we are.
hold on right there. I'm gonna get Orlando on the phone. Hey, Orlando Magic. I know y'all want to win,
Mhm.
but wait until next year because it's the Knicks' turn. Why y'all laughing? What y'all laughing at? Orlando, why y'all laughing? Bro,
I just don't see. I
Orlando
just don't
ain't
see
gonna
him.
be yeah,
They're
because
a small market, man. It's hard. I mean, they got a.
guaranteed, bro.
I mean, what are they gonna give us some of that young talent? And they don't have many like trade assets like we do. I mean, they got a lot of talent now over there. I like the kid Anthony Black. You know what I'm saying? And I like, of course, I like Moncaro. But you gonna break up the Wagner brothers? You know what I'm saying? To get something in there?
No, they can trade draft picks and they have veteran contracts. Right? They can
Well,
trade they could trade Joe Ingles contract and a first round pick and some first round picks for DeJounte Murray. They have veterans
true.
on that squad on big contracts that they can trade. Bro,
Mm,
Orlando is not yeah, Orlando is just like every other team, man. They have veterans, they have draft picks, they have young players, they have the stuff to make a move. They could trade
hmm
Markel Fultz. They could trade Markel
true.
Fultz. They could trade. It's a bunch of things. There are a bunch of moves that they can make. You know, in order to improve. You know, I mean, it might not sound like we may dismiss Orlando out of hand because they were once a lottery team, but I think that's dangerous, bro.
Oh no, I'm not saying I dismiss them. I just don't. I ain't gonna lie to you. Not necessarily dismiss, but I do kind of overlook them. You know, to some degree, because sometimes I look at them as like fool's gold. You know what I'm saying? It's shiny, it's lustrous, but it's not the real deal. You know what I mean?
I think that's how
I
Cleveland looked
don't.
at us last year.
Mm,
Yeah, you got a this one hit wonder point guard, and y'all power forward is every other
mm,
year, and y'all got a
mm,
dude that ain't never been to the playoffs, and he our third best player, Josh Hart. A dude that ain't
mm,
never been to the playoffs, and all of a sudden he our third best player, and things like that, and then we beat Cleveland.
mm. But if you noticed, then but it wasn't those particular players that you just said that beat Cleveland. That was really R.J. Barrett and quickly who beat Cleveland with Jalen Brunson because as you remember. what's called Randall struggled. He was just coming off the ankle injury. I mean, that ankle injury was fresh, but
Mhm.
it was the contributions of Mitch and Hartenstein as well,
And
shutting
Obi.
down and but more so not
Uh-huh.
necessarily Obi, but more so but those were the four players, the five players that really pushed us over the hump in that series. You know,
Okay.
us shutting down their big men, neutralizing their big men, and putting all the pressure on Donovan Mitchell to do it by himself.
Okay. Okay.
You know, it just so happened that RJ Barrett outplayed Karis LeVert,
Right. Right. Yeah.
and
He
then
had
you
to
know
outplay
quickly
Dave.
outplayed Sexton.
Yeah. But Sexton wasn't there though.
No, not Sexton. I mean, you know, the Garland.
Garland. Yeah.
You know, outplayed Garland, and then so it was just like a matchup of Mitchell and Brunson going at it. Who's who?
Right.
Who's going to come out on top of this one?
Right. Right.
But it's not to say that I really. I'm not sold on Orlando at all. Like, I still don't consider them a major threat yet. You know,
Okay.
versus still still the mountains that we still have to climb. Phillies,
Right.
and the Boston. You know, I do consider Indiana a threat because I
Okay.
mean I do consider Indiana a threat because there's something about them. It's just that the way that their offense it is and how they can just put up points so easily and so quickly, and it seems like
Right.
so effortlessly.
Right.
You know, they're not working hard to score. You know, they get it, they go, they run it, they're constantly running, and then they got everyone. If you notice, every one of their players, all of them are pretty much ball handlers.
Right.
You know, the Matherins, the Vanderbilts, the Siakams, um, the Hells, and I'm not even talking about their point guard yet.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
They all get it and go.
Oh man. Hey Lee, it's 10 o'clock. So I'm gonna
All
wrap it
right.
up right here, man. I didn't want to rock too long, man. I gotta these dogs right here. One of them smell like lavender. So we have a pug mix. He smelled like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying, lavender and whatever. We gave him some gut chews to have his breath smell
Mm-hmm.
minty.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So he around here, he want to go outside and get dirty, I imagine. And then we have a 23-month-old pit bull that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't understand social boundaries. Like he like to lick you all the time. Like he don't
Mm-hmm.
understand social cues. So I'm just gonna let him get outside, man, and just play and play and play. But and I just want to do this because last night we didn't rock. We didn't do a Knicks at Night podcast last night, so just wanted to get back on the air and just share some thoughts with everybody. So thank y'all for everybody that's coming in, that came in and rock with us. I think Ron starts Know the Ledge at what time? Like 11:15 or something. 11 o'clock.
11:30,
11.
11:30, 12,
Yeah, I
11:30,
generally
12
don't jump
o'clock.
in until 12. I generally don't jump until 12 because I do a lot of writing on Saturday mornings. So I'm definitely gonna check out Ron because I know he's gonna have a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff to talk about, man. Open panel and all that stuff. So I advise everybody, and I know y'all do anyway, because all of us are big fans of still Knicks fans. So check out Ron, man, at 11 whatever time he rocking. I guess the notifications will go out in a little while. So
Mm-hmm.
so everybody check out Ron. Hey, if you guys have any questions or anything like that, remember y'all can hit me up on X at Big Freezie. Hit me up, man, with y'all questions and stuff so we can have some stuff to talk about or whatever. I read the comments, but a lot of the times when everybody is commenting, The context of what you say may not get caught in the context that you meant. But if you hit me up, you know what I'm saying? If you have something really pressing, hit me up on X. You know what I'm saying? That's where I hang out. X. And Instagram. Blorange Tears on Instagram, at Big Freezie on X. I'm gonna get out of here, get some breakfast, walk these dogs, and get
Hmm.
ready for the Miami Heat, man. Thank you, Lee, for joining me. I'm gonna get out of here, man.
Oh, bro, no problem. Thank you for having me. And
Yeah,
shout
man.
out to the chat, you know what I'm saying, as well. All my good brothers out there, you know what I'm saying. Y'all take care of yourselves. Enjoy your Saturday, man. You know what I'm saying. And if you don't, take some time to love yourselves as well as your loved ones. You
Yeah,
know.
man. All right, y'all.
All right.